Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production. GMG, your guide to Australian dream. Learn how to make your Australian dreams come true with GMG Visa Solutions, your guide to Australian dream. This fortnightly podcast provides general advice about migration law and practice, whether it be for studying, working, visiting, migrating to Australia, petitioning for your visa refusal or cancellation, or obtaining Australian citizenship. GMG Visa Solutions got you covered. GMG, your guide to Australian dream.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the pilot episode of GMG Visa Solutions, your guide to Australian dream. This is brought to you by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, an independent podcast network for people worldwide. To learn more, you can visit them on www.guerrillapodcast.com.ph and www.guerrillapodcast.com.au. Before we start today's episode, please let me introduce myself. My name is Jeroslyn Glico-Kovarskis. I am your host for this podcast. Most people call me Jeline or Gigi for short. I am happily married, a mother of a 3-year-old, a part-time employee of one of the prestigious banks in Australia, and also a registered migration agent in Australia who works for GMG Visa Solutions. Registered Migration Agents, or RMA for short, are people who can provide immigration assistance. Our job is to prepare a visa application, provide advice to a visa applicant about their application, help prepare a document in connection with the sponsorship of a visa applicant or to advise their sponsor, prepare for proceedings before a court or merits review tribunal, or represent someone at those proceedings. And lastly, to help prepare a request to the Minister to exercise certain powers under Migration Act in relation to a visa applicant. As Australian migration laws are constantly changing, RMA must keep up to date with the current laws and procedures. No RMA can influence the outcome, fast-track the processing period, or guarantee you a visa. Alright everyone, so for today's episode, we will introduce who GMG Visa Solutions is and how it come about. We will give you insights on our share of struggles and success to get where we are today. So GMG Visa Solutions is a family-owned enterprise providing high-quality and life-changing services geared towards obtaining visas, lawfully allowing clients to move to Australia either temporarily or permanently. And yes, you heard it right. We are a family-owned business. My father, Herman Glico, is the founder and director of GMG Visa Solutions. He is also a registered migration agent and has been in the migration industry for over half a decade. He has helped a lot of people realize their Australian dream of either temporarily or permanently staying in Australia. So how did GMG Visa Solutions start, you may ask? Let me share you our story. We started as a family of 5. My father, mother, older brother, youngest sister, and of course myself, the middle child. We were originally from the Philippines and resided in the province of Guiguinto, Bulacan. It was an hour away from the hustle and bustle of Philippines' capital city, Manila. My father was a businessman and my mother was a primary school teacher. When we were little kids, my father worked for my uncle doing metal fabrication. He was the supervisor. As we were growing older, the demand for financial stability weighed in, forcing my parents to come up with a very hard decision. That was for my father to go overseas while my mother stay home full-time and look after my 2 siblings and I. My father went to Saudi Arabia to provide us with a better life. It must have been tough for my parents because my mother must attend to 3 young children by herself. My siblings and I are 1 year apart. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, my father had to deal with homesickness as he missed us growing up. Being a parent now, I understand the sacrifice they made. My father is a smart and talented man. Although he was hired as a laborer in Saudi Arabia, he was offered to be a supervisor not long after starting his work. He took the job and started supervising the colored glass stained glass department. I remember my mother receiving cassette tapes every few months. These cassette tapes serve as our means of communication. Overseas phone calls were too expensive back then. There's no internet and no mobile phones available. Almost every month, we heard our father's voice and saw him in pictures he sent us. He told us stories, sang to us, tried communicating with the whole family through these cassette tapes. In return, my mother sent letters and pictures of us to my father to ease his longing. 2 years had passed and my father decided to stay in the Philippines and open his own business. The services offered were iron casting, metal fabricating, glass etching, and stained glass making. Like all businesses, some years were better than others. The tough years we had got tougher when my father's health deteriorated. All the years of manual labor had taken its toll on his body. He was in agony. We felt helpless. Though this was the case, he didn't stop to do his best to provide for us. My mother helped in many ways she can. She did her teaching job and other odd works here and there while looking after my father and us, her children. Slowly but surely, my father recovered. After a few more years, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity came up. My uncle from Australia always knew my father's capabilities and wanted to help him provide a better future for his family. So he decided to sponsor my father to come to Australia as a skilled migrant, together with us. His extensive work experience has been very beneficial in this situation. All his hard work has not been in vain. His work has not gone unnoticed. Fast forward years later, our permanent resident visas were granted. Our family did not hesitate to take the leap of faith. We moved to Australia with courage in our hearts and positive outlook aiming for a better life. We left Philippines carrying only ourselves and our luggages. We were risking everything, but it did not seem to matter as we are doing it as a family. We arrived in this land down under and we immediately fell in love with this country, Australia. When we arrived, I remembered my uncle saying that Australia is a land of opportunities. He told us not to waste the chance he has given us, our family, and be good residents of Australia. On that note, we started our new lives in this foreign country. All our worries did not seem to matter as we have each other. We're never financially rich, but we have always been rich with love. Like how my uncle provided opportunity for our family to have a better life, our family would like to bring back the favor not only to the Australian community, but to other potential migrants like ourselves.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
And now, here to join us is the founder and director of GMG Visa Solutions, my beloved father, Mr. Herman Glico. Hi, Pa. Here we are on the first episode of our podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to all our listeners out there.
So, Pa, please tell our listeners how did you get started in this line of work? And why as well?
Well, my dream at the start when I was younger is to become a lawyer someday. I graduated as a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science at Far Eastern University in the Philippines way back in 1986. When I came to Australia, my family told me that it is now my time to help myself and pursue with my dreams. Because all my life I've been helping my family. I'm doing everything to make a stand for my family. So when I arrived here in Australia, I did a further study at the ANU, Australian National University in Canberra, and took up a graduate certificate in Australian migration law and practice. It was an online study but had to be physically present sometimes due to some requirement.
Okay, so how did you become a registered migration agent? So like what you said, you did study first in ANU. So from studying, how did you go about it next?
Yes, so as I mentioned before, it is because I already got a bachelor degree in the Philippines and I met the requirements to study that graduate certificate in Australian migration law and practice. So I started that in 2012 and finished in 2013. It took me 15 months to finish my study because I did it one module at a time. After I passed all my examination and graduated at ANU, I thought I am now eligible for registration, but I was not, as an English test is required with a general average of at least 7 and with at least 6.5 in every component. I could not remember the exact amount of my tuition fees, but it could be somewhere from 12 to 13,000 Australian dollars, just the tuition fee alone. So when I finished everything, I graduated, so I passed the IELTS test, and then I was able and eligible to be registered as a migration agent.
So when did you open up the business then?
So I started when I become officially registered at MARA, which is the Migration Agent Registration Authority, in 2014. Then I started to register the business.
Okay, so that's 2014. So that's over half a decade ago now. Yeah, so in terms of the name, how did you come up with it? The business name?
Oh, it was a long story. Actually, I thought first that GMG could stand for good management and governance, but it has a second significant meaning, which I derived from the name of my eldest grandson, Jerifer Manduar Glico. The reason behind this, it is because this grandson of mine is a miracle baby. We all thought that we would lose him when he was a baby, not more than a month ago, or month old, not more than a month old, sorry for that, because he was a premature and very ill at that time. His blood platelets were unstable and he was dextrose several times until his body are all swollen. Then the doctor recommended that they need to cut or open a bit from his neck to put in the dextrose because all his veins are swollen. We all thought carefully about the decision and decided not to follow the advice of the doctor, but instead, we called the priest to baptize him at the church. Miraculously, the next morning, when the doctor came back to check him, everything was normal, and the doctor could not believe it himself. He was sent home the next day. For GMG, it would mean that we are ready to face challenges and stand the test of time to bring out the best end results for our clients.
Well, that's really good and really good story. Like I can attest to that about my first nephew. So Drifer is my first nephew, and he is really a miracle baby. He's now like 12 years old, turning 13.
And not only that, you are the godmother of him at that time.
I'm the only godmother because I was the only one present at that time where we asked the priest to baptize him. But yeah, it was a good experience, and we're really lucky to have him in our lives now. Really healthy boy. So anyway, Pa, so how do you build a successful business base?
Okay, we built a successful customer base because I always treat my clients as family. You know, I am a very transparent person to them and assist them the best way I can. I have a passion and that is to help people. I want to be a service to them to achieve their goals of living here in Australia. Most of my clients feel very happy and content to what we are doing and servicing to them, and so do I. From there, referrals come through word of mouth, which I personally think it is the best form of advertising. Honestly, I only did my advertisement on the first 3 months of my career. From then on, all of my clients came from my clients' referral.
Oh, that was good to hear, isn't it? So anyway, do you remember the first visa that you have applied for?
Oh, I believe I could remember that it was a student visa. It was called 572 vet courses at that time, and that was in 2014.
So how did you feel when you first lodged the visa and then it was granted subsequently?
Well, I felt very happy and excited because I brought joy to my client at the time, and then I did prove to myself that I could do things that other can do as well for their clients.
No, that's really good to hear. And since you started, how many people have you helped come over or stay in Australia lawfully?
Well, could not give you that exact figure, but I had helped a lot of people already to come to Australia. Some are now, or of them are now on their permanent visa, and I also help people who are already here in Australia if they are applying for a new visa or if they have problems with their visa. So, to give you the nutshell, I really help a lot already. I could not count the figure, but it's a lot more than I could expect.
Yeah, well, that's good anyway. So the more people we help, the better anyway. So anyway, what types of visa do you frequently encounter?
Well, I do a lot of visas. There are the visitor visa, partner visa, child visa, student, and work visas such as the ENS 186 or the RSMS 187. They are the common visas that I have encountered for me.
Yeah, so we know that Australian visas are plenty and there's a few to choose from depending on your circumstances. So it's best to contact us if they wanted more information regarding the visas.
Yes, but we could do other visas depending on the customers or the clients that we have.
Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, to date, what's the success rate of the visa applications that you did?
I had made a lot of visa applications already. If I could recall, based on my memory, I only have a very, very few unsuccessful applications. So I would say the success rate of my applications is more than 90% at this point of time.
Yeah, that's good. That is a really high success rate for a small business like us. So in terms of plans for the future of GMG Visa Solutions, what are they and what's the vision and mission for our company?
The vision would be to extend the business, of course, branching out to other countries, especially the Philippines. Nowadays that everything is mostly online, we plan to use the influence of social media to extend our services worldwide. Our mission is to help people realize their Australian dream, whatever their purpose may be of coming to Australia. As a migrant myself, I had a lot of experience of being a migrant myself and also a deeper understanding of the migration process and its corresponding challenges. With my experience and years of hard work, customers can be certain to receive a top-notch service every single time.
Yeah, that's an excellent vision and mission, Pa. So the idea of helping others and putting it into action is really rewarding. So thanks for having a chat with us today anyway, and may God bless our business more.
You're welcome, and thank you, everyone.
So, I wanted to feel the same satisfaction my father feels when he helps and changes people's lives. So, a few years back, I decided to help my father. I started assisting him through the administration part of the business. I have worked in accounting firms here in Australia and done postgraduate management courses, which now proves to be very advantageous to our business. So later on, I got my registered migration agent license, and I now join my father in providing immigration assistance. On our next podcast episodes, GMG Visa Solutions will provide general advice about migration law and practice. We will also feature people who are now living their dreams and their experiences. We cannot stress enough that whatever we talk about on this podcast are only general information, not in any way specific. The reason being is because everyone has different circumstances. It is best to contact us so we can guide and provide you with visa options suitable to your preferences and needs. We listen to you and deliver professional and flexible migration assistance catered for you. Furthermore, Australian migration laws are constantly changing. The general advice we provide on the podcast is current on the time that we made the recording. Because of how often migration law changes, the general information provided today may not be applicable tomorrow. That is why GMG Visa Solutions is here for you. Also, you can hear this podcast on different media platforms, so please do not forget to like, follow, and share our episodes. We pride ourselves with well-trained consultants who are equipped and qualified to provide migration services wherever you are in the world. With our comprehensive knowledge and expertise on various migration issues, we can simplify it for you. No more complicated processes, just a straightforward approach that saves you time, money, and effort. If there's any visa you want us to discuss on our podcast, or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We will get back to you and we will discuss some of your questions on our podcast too. So please like, follow, and share our Facebook page GMG Visa Solutions and our podcast. You can contact us directly through our Facebook page, email us at inquire@gmgvisasolutions.com.au, or simply visit our website www.gmgvisasolutions.com.au for more information. So until next time, keep dreaming, keep praying. Dreams do come true. Thank you for listening to GMG Visa Solutions, your guide to Australian Dream. See you and God bless.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And if you want to know more, check out www.guerrillapodcast.com.au or guerrillapodcast.com.ph. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.